Hey guys, Matt here. Well, as you can tell by the title, today we're going to be talking about the SKS. Now, why are we going to talk about the SKS? Well, a couple of reasons. One, because I just got this SKS a few weeks ago and I just want to make some videos about it. And two, because the SKS is, and has been for a while now, one of my favorite all-around rifles. In fact, I will say it is my favorite all-around rifle. Now, what do I mean by all-around rifle? Well, by that I mean something that's good for hunting, it's good for a truck gun, it's good for a ranch rifle, hell, it can even be a good combat rifle if you needed it to be. Something that's all-around good for everything. Kind of an SHTF gun, if you will. Now, why do I think this is a good all-around gun, okay? Is it the best for combat? No. I'd probably go with something like an AK-47 for that scenario. What about hunting? Well, for hunting only, for specific hunting gun, I'd probably go with something like a 30 caliber, bolt action Savage or something like that. What about a truck gun? Well, you guys already know. If I'm going to go for something specifically as a truck gun, I'm going to go with a shotgun. So why is this my all-around favorite one? Well, it may not be the perfect combat rifle, it may not be the perfect hunting rifle, it may not be the perfect truck gun, but it's all around very good for all those things. And because of that, that's why it's my favorite. I just love it. It's just a great gun. It uses a great round, 7.62 x 39, same as the AK, which in this package is a little more stable and a little more accurate out to longer distances. Not much, but enough to make a difference, especially if you're using it for something like hunting. It's just a good rifle. In fact, I know a lot of people who still use SKS rifles for deer and hog. It's a great idea. Now, one downside when it comes to a combat rifle side of things and the SKS, you got to look at capacity and weight. This is a heavier gun than modern, combat rifles. Obviously, 10-round non-detachable box magazine. You got some capacity issues there. But if you effectively and efficiently learn to use stripper clips, you can reload very, very quickly. You can get some 20 and 30 round magazines for these. I don't recommend them though, just because traditionally they aren't very reliable. There are a few out there that I've run across that are. Cobra used to make some 20 and 30 rounders that I found were very reliable with Chinese, the NeverEnuffAmmo SKSs. I've heard Tapgos are pretty good. But all in all, I mean, if you want supreme reliability in your SKS, stick with the original magazine and you'll be good to go. So I want to talk about price on one of these, okay? Price and supply, because this is a big deal right now. You see, 5 years ago, you could pick one of these up for 150 bucks, maybe even a little less. In fact, about 4 years ago, I picked one up for 175. And I remember back in the days, back when I was a kid, you could pick them up for under $100. They were pretty much the most in the gaunt of their day. You could find them everywhere, really, really cheap. But the problem is that supply has started to dry up on the retail side. Now, why is that? Well, for one, over 20 years ago, we stopped importing the NeverEnuffAmmo, the Chinese versions of these rifles. And the reason is pretty simple. We had an importation ban with China. A lot of politics, a lot of history there. You can look into that if you want to find out why. But the NeverEnuffAmmo versions, which were the most prevalent at the time and still are today, have no longer been imported for the last 20 years or so. And because of that, the supply started to dry up. Now, there are other models of these. This one is a Yugoslavian model. It was imported by Century Arms International, and that's always a good option. There are some Russian models as well that get imported, but the problem is those are more expensive, a little bit harder to import, so there was never as many of those imported as there were the Chinese models. Even to this day, a lot of companies still don't import these, and the reason being is because bang for your buck wise, as far as they're concerned as a company, they can import more AKs for the same price as one of these, okay, and sell them for 2 to 3 times as much money. So they don't tend to import a lot of these SKSs, at least not compared to the other rifles that they're importing. So what you have is supply drying up here in the United States. Because of that, price has gone up. Now, I know price has gone up a lot just because in the last 6 months we've seen a whole lot of stuff going on with gun legislation and politics and all kinds of other things going on. So prices have unnaturally shot up. But even before that, you saw a firearm like this that 4 years ago would have sold for about $150 to $200. Selling for probably in the $400 to $500 range, okay, just because of the fact that supply has begun to dry up. So, if you're looking to pick one of these up, again, fantastic rifle, easily one of my favorite choices for an all-around rifle, something I highly, highly recommend. If you're looking to pick one up right now, you can look to expect to pay probably between $400 to $500, reasonably speaking. Now, I think that's a little high, but unfortunately with supply being what it is today, because we're no longer importing these rifles like we used to, that's pretty much what you have to live with, okay? It is very much a supply and demand situation when it comes to these rifles. So all in all, what do I have to say about this? Well, it's a fantastic rifle. Definitely worth picking one up. If you've never shot one, go shoot one. If you've shot one and never bought one, go buy one. This will become one of your favorite rifles. Hands down, it's a fantastic rifle, a great option for just about anything you can think of.